Triangulation. Let's talk about it. Today I want to talk about triangulation because once again, it's a tactic that toxic and abusive people use in order to gain and maintain control of their target. Triangulation is what happens when the toxic uses a third party to make you feel less than. Now, this can be done in two ways: directly and indirectly. Now, when it's done directly, the toxic person will say and do things subtly and not so subtly to make you feel less important or less than someone or something else. They may even call in a third party, a third thing, to win an argument or make you wrong about something. Now, this third element is usually imaginary. For example, everybody thinks that you're crazy, to justify why they are calling you crazy and justify not taking any responsibility for what you're arguing about. Another example of direct triangulation is when they use a third party, maybe an ex-partner or a friend, to make you feel jealous and insecure about yourself. For instance, I call this direct triangulation because whilst they might be using subtle tactics to communicate this to you, it is actually directly being communicated from toxic person to target. Now, the indirect type of triangulation is slightly different because this is where the toxic person goes to a third party and causes problems for you using that third party. This is another form of triangulation. They might say things, spread rumors to cause them to turn against you in some way. Not only might they use a third party to turn in some way, not only to rumors to another using that third party. This is another form of triangulation. They might say things, spread rumors to triangulation. They might say things, spread rumors. Another form of triangulation. They might say things, spread rumors to cause them to turn against you in some way. Not only might they use a third party to turn other people against you within a certain environment, they may actually use the third party to act out their toxic and abusive behavior for them. Now, this type of triangulation is not just restricted to a personal relationship. This type of triangulation is also quite common within a toxic workplace. Now, how do you handle this when you're experiencing it? Let's start off with the direct triangulation. I recommend that you call it out. I'm not saying that this is going to go well. Usually when you call it out, they'll start gaslighting you and using other forms of manipulation to try and destabilize you. However, call it out nonetheless. And if it doesn't stop, then cut yourself off from that situation. Move yourself away from that relationship because it's toxic. Now, the indirect form of triangulation is a little bit more tricky. When you're experiencing this type of triangulation, you may find that people that you used to get along with now suddenly don't see you in the same light or are viewing you and acting towards you in a negative way. Now, the natural reaction to this is to become quite defensive and react in an equally aggressive way. But I challenge you not to do that, and instead become curious as to why that person has suddenly shifted their attitude. Now, depending on what's been said, you may or may not get to the bottom of it, but it's worth a try. And if you're unable to get to the bottom of it, again, I suggest you move away from that situation and you cut ties with all of those negative elements. In this situation, you may want to stick it out, fight it out, defend yourself, and all of the rest of it. But I stress to you not to do this because the reality is you win when you are no longer accessible to the people who are trying to harm you. So the quicker you can cut ties and move away from that situation, the better for you. That's what I wanted to share with you guys today. I hope you found that helpful. Let me know in the comments, have you ever experienced triangulation? What happened and how did you